Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Scottsdale. We're all here. We're all here to have a good time. And welcome to all of you out there online watching and listening. And I'm going to take a little bit of privilege and say hi to my oldest, Josh, who I think is watching, and my two youngest, who are watching for the first time, Logan and Megan. So hi, Logan and Megan. I will see you in about 6 hours. So that's exciting. So welcome all of you. Glad you were all here. You didn't all need to sit in the back. There's plenty of room in front. Just saying. This morning, and it's an honor to be here. It's always fun to come up here and talk. I don't get to talk very much anymore. But after having a meeting with Jill, we will see about that. Anyway, looking forward to spending more time with you and just being grateful today to be part of this community, for certain and for sure. And so thank all of you for welcoming me into the family, and I'm glad to be here. So this morning we were talking about oneness. And sorry, Joe, but I did more reading after I sent you all that information. And so these will not end up on the screen, folks, because they were last minute. But they are important. And they are from a little book called The Anatomy of Healing Prayer. And what this book is a collection of talks given by Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Centers of Spiritual Living, formerly known as the Church of Religious Science, author of The Science of Mind, and on and on and on. Most of these talks were given during an invitation-only group that he used to hold on Tuesday mornings at the Founders Church in Los Angeles, or at his home, as I recall occasionally. So I have a few quotes from this, and this is talking about the healing consciousness, which is a consciousness of unity, and the awareness of everything being one. It's all one. It's even hard to call it one because one implies two or three or four or five, which it's not. It's just a unity that we're talking about. So I have a few things to share with you from a couple of his talks, just to kind of set the tone for what I will be talking about as we go along this morning. And so this is from a talk about the consciousness of unity. And he says, now then, we have to extend our own consciousness inward and upward if we are going to extend it outward, because it would only cast a shadow equal to its own height and breadth. And I know that all sounds all very fancy, right? And what it's saying is, as within, so without. As above, so below. Our consciousness, our awareness, our thoughts, our beliefs, the entirety of our belief system is always reflected in our world. So if we want to raise that, we go within, raise the vibration, raise the attitude, expand our awareness of the givingness, the lovingness, all the good that Spirit is, that God is as us, in order for it to manifest in our world. Okay. I'm going to lay a bunch of stuff out here in the beginning, and we're going to go back and we're going to revisit all of it. Okay. Well, maybe not all of it, because sometimes I get on a roll and I don't quite come back. I'm just being honest, friends. That's just kind of the way it works. This one from a talk on healing awareness. And Ernest goes on to say, now this is one of the things Lao Tzu meant when he said that the man who knows may not be learned. The man who is learned may never know. And he is right. Whether we call it the mystical element, that spiritual perception, it doesn't matter what we call it. We do deal with the transcendence in treatment. And he's talking about prayer or spiritual mind treatment. And we should know that we do. Then we do deal with that in mind, which should be transcendent of our arguments through technique. And the arguments through technique are only to reach the place where we don't have to have them. So that's just a couple things. And in that, what we're talking about is we don't want to get too full of ourselves, right? Get too wrapped up in all of the stuff that we have to collect, we think we have to know, right? It's very simple. We need to, Ernest liked to say, we need to raise the self by the self. Okay. We need to come to a place within ourselves when we wake up and are aware and can look out upon the world and say, It's all one. So I may not see it always. I may not perceive it always. I may not feel it always. There's something inside of me that says, you know what? It's all connected. That if in the beginning all there was this creative presence, this creative energy we call God or spirit or universal mind or whatever we want to call it, give it a name of your choice, all it had to create from was itself. So by extension, that is what we are. We may not always be aware of it. We may not always believe it because we have our mistakes that we make, we have our flaws, we have our growing edges, we have all these things that we move through as we grow and develop, right? And so we make mistakes. We have challenges. We have opportunities. We can call, we have problems. We can call them problems. We don't have to just call them opportunities for growth, right? And they are that. But they're problems. They're challenges to be overcome. Or they're little problems that we have to figure out in order to move forward. He says, here's the first one, Joe. Ernest Holmes goes on to say in page 481 of the Science of Mind textbook, the spirit of man is the spirit of God, for God is one. The spirit of man is the spirit of God, for God is one. If we can just rest in that and grasp that one concept, and then give God its names, right? So what do we believe God to be? So I'm going, okay, audience participation time. Okay, this is a test. I want to hear just one word at a time from the group, the qualities you would ascribe to God. Say, if we say God is, and you fill in the blank. So God is love. God is all. What else? God is universal. God is infinite. All right. God is compassionate. God is what else? All there is. Okay. And so great. Thank you. Bravo. Give yourselves a hand. Because God is all of that and so much more. So much more. Yeah, I remember creating a little list in the process when a long time ago. So God is love, light, life, peace, power, beauty, joy, abundance, health, wholeness, prosperity, wealth. What else? That's it. That's just for starters, right? We can name all these things, and God is everything else. Sometimes it feels like fear. Sometimes it feels like anxiety. I mean, we have these feelings; they're real. And what I know is when I start falling into those feelings, those qualities of being, it's when I start feeling separate from life. I start feeling separate from myself. I start feeling separate from spirit, from God, whatever you want to call it. And what I need to do is find my way back, right? And so I turn to these other things to find my way back. I say, no, it's not about fear. It's about love, right? It's not about anxiety. It's about peace. And how do I do that? How do I get back to that on my own? How do I find that place in myself where I can get past the anxiety, past the fear, into that sense of love and joy and peace and beingness? How do I do that? Well, I just stop and remember. I stop and take a breath. I take a moment and I find a way to reground myself. If I can, I take my shoes off, go stomp on the ground a little bit, go for a walk. It's like I know that when I start feeling anxious, I'm like if I'm at home, I start feeling anxious, I start feeling antsy or whatever, I go out and I go for a walk. I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to live like a block and a half from Tempe Town Lake, and it's a great little walk. Go down and walk by the lake. Even in the rain the other morning. It was great. It was awesome to go walk in the rain by the lake. I didn't care. It was 55 degrees. It's plenty warm. I can go do that. And we all have ways we do that. We stop and we take a deep breath. Sit down, have a cup of tea, whatever it takes to find our way back. And just to remember to look out upon the world sometimes with those beginner's eyes, with the eyes of a child, and eyes that without pretense, without preconceived notions about what things are and how things have to be. Right? Things will always be for us as we are with them. They will reflect back to us our own inner life. So as we nurture the inner life and focus on love and peace and joy and enthusiasm, getting excited about the world we live in from time to time, rather than buying into a lot of the messages we get from media, from wherever else, right? About how it's not working, it's not going well. Blah, da, 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 da. Man, I turned the news off about 6 months ago. I gave it up. Feel much better. Thank you very much. I'm going to check in like 5 minutes a day. That's it. It's my limit. It's long enough to catch the highlights, or whatever you want to call them. And it's okay. Because I know that at some point I can look back and look at those facts in the face and start telling the truth about them, right? Because that's part of the healing as well. Because as we can look those facts in the face, look those false expectations about how the world is, about how we are in the world, the negative side, we look at the downside and say, okay, how can I flip that around? Like we were talking about before, converting the fear to love, converting the anxiety to peace. What do I do to do that? I do affirmations. I call a practitioner, call a friend, call a prayer partner, call somebody you know that who will lift you up in the moment. Reach out and say, you know what, I'm just not doing real well. You want to go have a cup of coffee? You want to talk? You want to chit chat? What do you want to do? I just need some support. We can do that. Feel free. Go online to the church website, put in a prayer request. Sometimes just putting in the prayer request is enough, because then we've let it go. We've turned it over to somebody. That's half the challenge sometimes, right? To say, you know what? I'm going to reach out and I need help. So I put in that prayer request. I hit send. I know it's handled. It's done. Because I trust that somebody on the other end is going to take that and say, okay, I can see the truth about you. And as I see the truth about you, it begins to take shape. Because what we do in our prayer work so often begins with sweeping aside the false ideas, the false beliefs about who we are, so the truth of the oneness, the truth of the connection, the truth of the wholeness inside of you can be revealed. Because each and every one of us is a magnificent, individualized expression of that one. That is the truth of who you are. That I know, without a doubt. Number 2. Ernest Holmes writes in The Science of Mind, page 145, paragraph 3, for those checking. A realization of the power and the presence of God is the most powerful healing agency known to the mind of man, or known to humankind. There, I rewrote it. I try not to rewrite Ernest Holmes. A realization of the power and the presence of God is the most powerful healing agency known to the mind of humankind. Wow. See? It's a matter of opening ourselves to the realization. We have the five. It's like we have the 5 steps of treatment. The first one is recognition. We recognize that God is all there is, right? Second step, unification. So we have God is all there is. I am one with God. Realization is we speak the truth about what it is we're talking about. In the place of fear, we place love. In the place of illness, we replace that with wholeness. We place doubt with faith. And on and on and on. We have a realization based on 1 and 2. God is love. I am one with God. I am one with love. Love is all I am. Love is what expresses through me here and now. And then I give thanks for it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the realization because as I've spoken, it is already done. And then I let it go. I set it aside. We just press send, right? Press send and it's done. We get up and we walk away. Don't go digging up the seed you just planted, right? Because I just planted a seed within the realm of spirit. I did my prayer work. I spoke into the one and said, you know what? It's done. And that's just like planting the seed in the ground. And walking away in faith is just like pouring water on that. Because I walk away now expecting whatever I've spoken into existence to be in existence. Now, like any seed, it may take some time to grow, but that seed is planted. And having doubts about that is like going back and digging up that seed. Questioning, going, God, where is it? When you plant a seed in your garden, you don't question whether that seed is going to grow. You just water it and look for it. You look for it with expectancy in your heart, right? We know it's down there under the ground growing, germinating. And at some point in a day or 2 or 3 or 4, it's going to sprout and it's going to come up through the ground. And it's like that for us with prayer work, with spiritual mind treatment. Because we trust in the one, we trust in the wholeness, we trust in unity, we trust in life to manifest itself in and through us based on our belief. That is what it's about. And that is all grounded in this idea that we are one with Spirit. What do we expect in our lives? What am I looking for? When I turn the corner and I'm walking through my life and I turn a corner or I go up the stairs or wherever I'm going, what am I looking for? What am I expecting? Am I expecting good stuff? Or am I walking through my life waiting for the next shoe to drop, so to speak? I mean, I have good days and bad days. I'll fess up. I have some days where I just don't want to play, right? And when I catch myself, like it usually takes a few hours for me to realize that I'm in this space. And when I catch myself, I stop. I'm like, hold on, buddy. I call a friend, sit down, take a deep breath, do a little meditation, do a little prayer work, pick up a book, go to a video, whatever, but something to turn it around. What am I expecting in my world? It's like, I want to know that as I'm walking through my world, everywhere I turn, I'm greeted by the face of Spirit shining back to me through somebody else or through something else, through a child, through another adult, through whomever. And if that's what I want to, if that is what I want to walk through the world expecting, sometimes I have to be that for other people too. Right? Sometimes it takes reaching out. Sometimes it actually takes, this is one of my favorite ones. I think I share this one a lot. And I'm just going to keep sharing it because it works and it makes a difference. Smile at the cashier. Don't use self-checkout. I'm saying it, I'm putting it out there, friends, because self-checkout, I mean, if you're in a hurry, I get it, use self-checkout. And what I'm saying, and follow me on this. Wait in line. Very few of us are in that much of a hurry in our world that we can't take time to wait in line to go through the checkout with the real cashier. This is an opportunity, friends. This is an opportunity to connect with another human and make a difference in another person's life. Most cashiers get ignored for the most part. They're just there doing a job, and most people go through the check stand and don't engage the cashier. I engage the cashier. I talk to them. I use their name. And they ask me, how is my day? I say, you know what? My day was great. How is your day going? How have you been? Just the other day, it's like, what are your plans for Christmas? What exciting has been happening in your life? And they love being engaged, and say thank you to them on your way out. Thank you, you did just a great job today. How many opportunities do we have like that to really connect? And at the level of truth, to connect with ourselves. Connect with another individualized expression of spirit in a fully unique and individual expression. They're reflecting back to me who and what I am. And I get to reflect to them who and what they are as well. So why not be friendly? Why not be kind, caring, helpful, compassionate, enthusiastic, engaging with that other person so that I can reflect to them my highest and greatest ideal of who I am and who they are too. I get to be there, be a presence, and give them a gift of showing them just how wonderful and magnificent they are through my own expression. Wow. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine if you had half a dozen people in your world, or even 2 people in your world, show up for you like that every day. What a difference would that make for you? So why not be that gift for somebody else? Ernest goes on to write in The Science of Mind, page 145, until we awaken to the fact that we are one in nature to the divine, we shall not find the way of life. Let me say it again. Until we awaken to the fact that we are one in nature to the divine, we shall not find the way of life. That's just what I was talking about. It is our nature to be loving, kind, joyful, enthusiastic, expressive, compassionate, celebratory even, about who and what we are and who and what the world is. How can we practice that? How can we carry that forward? How can we really move that up to the next level? Because every day is an opportunity to raise that up, to raise that vibration, every breath. How can I clear away, like Daniel was talking about in the Joyous Living Journal reading this morning, how can I clear up that glass just a little bit more today? Right? How can I clean the window? Because the only thing clouding that window are our own beliefs, our own acceptance of whatever limitations we've taken on by virtue of our experience, by virtue of what we've heard, what we've learned, what people have told us about who we are. All that limitation has been poured upon us, and we have accepted it, consciously or not, to one degree or another throughout our lives. We have. We've accepted it. Absolutely. I have. I'll speak for myself. I have accepted those limitations up until now. And I'm the one who can set myself free from that. And you are that in your life as well. We have dirtied up the window through which that spirit expresses through us. We are the ones who did that. And we are the ones who can clean it up. That's the good news. That is the way life expresses through us. And so when we run into doubt and uncertainty, we can sweep that aside and replace it with faith and truth and hope and all these things. When we start buying into fear, we move that forward with a certain expectancy of the good that is here for us. It's already given. It's a matter of us accepting it. So what are we going to do today? What can you do in your life to make a difference today? So I have a little practice for you for this week. And I didn't give this to Joe earlier because it's just one thing. And you can all do this. So if you want to make notes or whatever, you can. But, and I'll say it a few times. So actually, we'll practice it together. So I want you to repeat after me. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of short phrases, and I want you to repeat after me, and we'll do it a few times. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. So now I want you to turn and look at somebody, if you want to. I'm going to invite you to turn and look at somebody and say, everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And now look at one more person, and say, everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Okay, so now, as we go through the week this week, I am inviting you to 2 or 3 times a day, wherever you are. And you don't have to make eye contact with somebody, but just look at somebody, right? Look at somebody out in your world and say, everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And really, and just say, you don't have to say it loud, just say it quietly, or just move your lips. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God, right? It's very simple. And say it until you feel it. Say it until you feel it. And that's going to make a difference for you each and every day, in each and every moment. We can do that. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. And that is affirming the oneness in which we live, affirming the fact that we live in a divine field, that we are surrounded by the divinity that is God, and that is in us and through us and expressing all around us in each and every moment. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Practice that this week. Not just you here, you out there as well. So I appreciate all that. So as we close, we're going to put this into practice in our closing prayer today, in our closing spiritual mind treatment. So we are going to wrap with this. So please take a moment to be still. I'm just going to make sure I'm doing this right. Am I doing this right, Joe? Is this next? All right, thank you. A few more times and we'll be fine. Okay. So if you just breathe with me, breathe in, breathe out, and let it go. Breathe in and out. We talked about the 5 steps of treatment earlier, and sometimes I like to begin in kind of like step A, 1A, whatever, a preparatory step, by simply giving thanks in advance. And we give thanks in advance right now, knowing that it is already done, that Spirit, God, light, infinite life, and love already knows the desires of our heart, already knows what it is we have need of, what ideas and thoughts and beliefs we need to sweep aside here in this moment. So we pause and give thanks and express our gratitude right here and right now, knowing it is already done. And so I invite each and every one of you here this morning and in this space, and those of you out online right now, if you have a need, a desire in your hearts and your minds right now, just bring it forward. And we will trust that it is already known, and the words I speak will address this in some way, shape, or form. And so as we begin, we affirm that there is only one, that infinite life, infinite mind, divine love, God, Spirit, whatever name we choose to put upon it, is right here, right now, in, through, and as each and every one of us. It is in this that we live and move and have our being. It surrounds us, lifts us up, lifts me up right here and now. And I know absolutely that all is well, that life is good and very good in, as, and through me right now. It is in this that I live, and it expresses through me in my thoughts, my ideas, my words. And as I speak this word in the first person, I speak it for each and every person here and all of you in the online space, because I feel you here with us right now. I feel your presence, and we are grateful for that as well. And so I speak this word of truth, knowing that love points the way, that love lifts us up and sweeps aside any doubt or uncertainty regarding the desires of our heart. That each and every individual here is whole, complete, and perfect in every way. That life and love and truth guide and direct us in every endeavor. That life is good and very good as each and every one of us, every cell and fiber of our being, alight and alive with the truth of the divine in us and through us. That I walk through this day, this week, this year coming in perfect faith, knowing that any goal, any objective I may have is already fulfilled in mind, and that I am guided in perfect wisdom to take the steps necessary in each and every moment as they unfold before me. Easily and effortlessly, all is well. Because in the mind of God, it is already complete, and I just need to allow it to unfold in my life. The steps are already revealed, and I see them clearly right now. Every word, every action, every deed is laid out before me. And so with gratitude in my mind and in my heart for this and so much more, for the blessings of this congregation, of the family I have in this world, for every affiliation and association, I am truly blessed. For the fulfillment of the desires of my heart, I am truly grateful. And so I let it be, and we say together, and so it is.